Welcome back to FTV, guys. Welcome back. Let's indulge in this. Let's enjoy it. Arsenal have beaten Brentford 3-0. After last year, starting the season, Arsenal have actually turned some of last season's sort of, nightmarish moments that we had to relive on All or Nothing. They've turned a lot of them around, whether it be actually winning at Palace when we lost there last season, winning on the opening day when we lost last season, winning against Brentford at the Brentford Community Stadium when we lost last season, actually turning defeats against Man United, into a response, an opportunity for a response, an opportunity to bounce back, rather than letting it sort of weigh down on us and maybe going through a bit of a bad run until we eventually had to dig ourselves out. Arsenal have overcome a few things already in what's been a very short season so far that they haven't been able to overcome, that they weren't able to overcome last season. So fair play to them. We're going to talk about that. We'll talk about some of the individual performances. We'll look at the goals, and we'll look about we'll look at how we think things could be looking in 2 weeks' time ahead of the North London derby. Of course, Dan Potts will be joining. I think we'll get Robbie as well making an appearance a little bit later. But more importantly, it's your chance to have your say. So get your videos in. The number appears on the screen. Send them via WhatsApp. Don't call the number. No one's going to pick up. You get blocked if you call. Don't call. Or text, because we're not reading those out. Send in your videos and give us your thoughts. Fan cams will be coming out as we speak as well, and a little bit later. So let me just give my thoughts very quickly before we go to your thoughts and bring Dan in. My thoughts. I thought Arsenal, I backed the boys to come through. I didn't really turn up particularly nervous today. And you know me, I normally would say I'd be on the starting 11 going, ooh, I'm a bit nervous. Even during the watch along, I was more relaxed than normal. And I really am quite a nervy one when I'm watching Arsenal. But the reason is, I thought Arsenal had shown enough already this season, even in the defeat against Man United, that they're very comfortable actually in possession, that most teams they're going to go to and have more of the ball and create a few chances. And I thought there'd be opportunities for goals there. And there were. We scored 3. And I knew Brentford had their good moment. They scored 5 against Leeds. They beat Man United 4-0. So I was kind of aware that this was going to be a bit of a tough task. But even me, who's more conservative on things like the Forever Arsenal podcast when it comes to predictions, a few of them predicting draws, I think, I went for the Arsenal win. I did feel that they'd still get over the line because I think we've shown enough going forward. I think that was true today. What I didn't anticipate was quite how comfortable we'd be. And that's not just because we were playing really well in possession, creating lots of chances and scoring goals. It was because as much as the press and the attack set the tone, the defence really set the tone. And there are a few early duels between Saliba and Toney. A couple of times they got in behind and Saliba recovered. Gabriel playing really well and then overcoming a little bit of a discomfort in his knee or side of his knee, whatever it was. And I think those early duels and early moments allowed the team in front, the midfield and the front three, to go, okay, let's press, let's commit to this, because they're on it and they're winning their duels early at the back. And little things like that can just spark a confidence that kind of filters through the team, which is why having players like Saliba, who are really quick, dominant in the air, they throw their weight about around, and they're very good in possession. That third goal from Fabio Vieira comes from Saliba backing his strength, backing his ability on the ball to, okay, you're pressing me, the pass isn't on, cool, I'll turn around you and I'll kickstart the move again. And I think those little things are really crucial to the way Arsenal were able to dominate for 90 minutes. Funnily enough, in terms of games this season, I think of the Villa game at home, I think of the Leicester game at home. I mean, we're talking home games here. Maybe Bournemouth away, there's not a lot in it. But I thought in those games, actually, in terms of creating pure chances, we were probably better. We were probably better in those individual performances. But today was far more complete because we dealt with their threat superbly. And it wasn't like Palace where we dealt with their threat, but we really had to kind of sit back for a lot of the game. I mean, you're looking at mainly the second half, we had to soak up a lot of pressure from Palace, didn't we? In this game, we were able to just deal with the moments when they came, a couple of minutes here and there that Brentford were on the ball and looking like they might do something. But then after we got on the ball, we played our football and we were excellent. Quick word on the goals. What was the first one? Saliba. Yeah, I mentioned on the watch along that I think if you were to design the perfect day, really, you're designing the perfect day. You're going, okay, well, plenty of goals scored for the goal difference, 3 points and a clean sheet, cool. Then you want a Jesus goal because he's your striker, and you just always want your striker getting those numbers, having that confidence. You probably want a Saliba goal because of the contractual situation. You want to feel the love, the song, all of that. Then you want a debut goal for Fabio Vieira. So we got all 3 of those. And what a goal it was, showing what he can do from distance and that kind of decisiveness he can have in the final third. Then you're talking Granit Xhaka wearing the armband and putting in that performance. We know the debate around whether he should be wearing the armband. And a debutant for 15-year-old Ethan Nwaneri. And I just don't think you could have designed a better day than that. I mean, Tierney as well coming in and looked really, really good. I'm trying to think. No fresh injuries as far as I'm aware. The players that were out missing were replaced more than adequately. So I just think it was a faultless day, a really faultless day from Arsenal. And now go rest and recover and get ready for the North London derby in a couple of weeks' time. Yeah, great header from Saliba. Well done to the set piece coaches and Nicholas Yova. Just what an amazing job he's doing there. It's not just how we attack them, it's how we defend them. Brentford didn't really have anything on set pieces. And by the way, it's not an easy thing to do to be organised from set pieces. Look at Leicester yesterday, absolute shambles. It takes some work, it takes concentration, it takes consistency, and Arsenal are showing that. Jesus, great header. Xhaka deserved that assist. Could have had an assist for the Martinelli shot that he kind of slips on in the first 2 minutes of the game. But Xhaka was really, really immense today in both boxes. He's blocking it in our own penalty box. He's swooping back to defend, but he's also getting in the air and creating chances. Deserved that assist for Jesus. And then the third goal, Fabio Vieira, we've touched on it. What a great hit. And it comes from some composure at the back from Saliba and us playing our way through. It's a really good goal. People remember it for the strike from distance, but it was also just brilliant football that got us into that position. So guys, those are my thoughts. Well done, Arsenal. Back top of the table. We want to hear what you guys have to say now, so let's get your thoughts.
What's going on, AFTV? Dini here. Great performance. I'm happy. I'm very, very happy. I'm happy that we won. I'm happy that we're back to the top of the league. I'm happy that we go into the international break, top of the league. We go to Tottenham, top of the league. I want to go to Liverpool, top of the league, so that means smashing up Tottenham. I'm happy. Nwaneri, 15 years old. That's crazy. The Premier League's youngest ever player. Big up to him. And let's hope we see more of him. Let's see if we can see more of him, hopefully. But we need to keep winning games. Do you know what I mean? So let's see if we can keep that up. But yeah, international break, top of the league. Tottenham next. Yeah. Come on, you Gunners.
What's up, guys? Javi from the US here. When my alarm went off today and I looked at that lineup and squad, I had half a thought to go back to sleep, but the Arsenal kept me awake with a great performance. And what I really, really loved about it is that it wasn't this high-intensity, frantic, that sometimes can look kind of nervy performance. It was calm. It was composed. It was measured. And this is exactly what I've been calling for. If you go back to some of my, fan clips, I've been saying that we need to learn how to slow down the pace of the game without actually dropping our tempo. And we did that today. For 90 minutes, we dictated the pace of the game and every single phase of play and every single area of the pitch. And at times, it almost looked like we were just being casual about it. And when you look at the teams that play this style of football, the ones that do it at the very best, that's exactly how they look. That was the first time I've seen Arsenal play in that way under Mikel Arteta. And for that, I am absolutely ecstatic. Let's keep on pushing.
Big up to AFTV. It's Jay from Malaysia. I must say, what a win. What a win. 3-0, clean sheet. Saliba, he might be racing Gabriel to see who's the best defender to score goals, I guess. Gabriel Jesus called in another goal. Then Fabio Vieira continued his form. With, I must say, it's been a great week. And all our prayers and commiserations to the Queen and country. May your spirit rest in peace, And on we move to the next game. Come on, you Gunners!
Well done, Gunners. Well done. 3 points back to the top. Well-deserved victory. Few things mentioned. Fabio Vieira, perfect goal. Fantastic hit from outside of the box, something we were lacking over the past years. So great to see things like this. When Thomas Partey is in midfield, we look much more confident. We have this solid midfield. And I hope we can repeat that against Spurs, because it's going to be absolutely tough game coming up. But let's enjoy. And one more thing, Bukayo Saka, come on, grow the game. Be more confident. Take your chances. Overall, fantastic performers. Ciao.
Hey, love to all of you from around the world who are sending in your videos. That's, again, I always say it, I must be so boring, but it's what I love about doing this show, especially, I say especially after a win, only after a win. They once overheard me when we'd lost, and I was saying I hate doing this show, and I stand by. When we're losing, it's like, oh God, because you all want to be able to enjoy it. When we have a day like today and a performance like today, you know, it's such a pleasure to be here, indulging in it all and hearing what the fans are saying. Harvey there, he's a regular, sends in his videos. He's got, you know, brilliant understanding and insight for the game, was talking about control. And do you echo those thoughts about control and Arsenal, especially this season, actually having, trying to find another word for control to sound clever,
composed.
But yeah, that there's a composure and just a complete awareness of what to do in key moments of the games that's allowing Arsenal to go through the 90 minutes quite seamlessly.
Yeah, I think from minute 1, James, to 94th minute, we were in control 100%. And I don't believe that, although that Brentford can cause some problems to us, I think we dealt with them pretty well.
Yeah.
You saw the long throws coming in. You know the corners are going to be whipped in. You know they've got some physical presence around the box. And I don't feel that we were naive to that. And that was my biggest concern, I suppose. I thought Brentford would score. That's why I went for a 2-1 win, because I thought they would score. And I'm really happy with a clean sheet there. You know, I think you said it out there that Palace and Bournemouth and now today, clean sheets. And that's massively key.
Yeah.
I think Saliba and Gabriel's partnership is a massive part of that. You know, I think Ben White and Gabriel formed a good partnership last year, but this one's better for me. Really impressed with Gabriel today, because he has been shaky in the first few games, you know, and I think out of the defence that we put together, he's probably the one that you would look at and say that he's not been on fire.
Yeah.
I thought he was brilliant today. I thought he was absolutely superb. And big up Kieran Tierney as well, because he's come in from Zinchenko getting a knock, and it's been fantastic. And I think he is better defensively than Zinchenko, but his link-up play today was really good as well. So I've been really impressed today, James, with 1 minute to the end. And I think that when you look at talks of being composed and controlled, we were, but there was that intensity as well, and that worked great, particularly from our front three. Really good to see, and I think that, you know, there's a nice story today as well.
Yeah.
You know, the 15-year-old coming on. I'm not going to try and say his name. What, Nwaneri, was it?
Nwaneri, I believe.
Nwaneri.
Ethan Nwaneri.
Ethan Nwaneri. I think when you look at what he's done, the only reason he's played is because we played well. That's the only reason he's come on today. 15 years old, we're 3-0 up, and we're giving the kid a chance because we can, because we're that controlling the game. And that's a massive story today. And of course, Fabio Vieira with his first goal. And what a goal that was, by the way. And, you know, I said to Robbie that I don't believe Martin Odegaard shoots from there. We don't really see it. We rarely see it. He's done it before, but we rarely see it. What a finish, mate. What a strike. And I was impressed with his performance because it wasn't a wow performance. It was a good performance. It was one that I thought was, you know, you could look at, and he wasn't an outstanding performer. It wasn't one that I'd look at and say, wow, he was one of the better players. But a good performance. Coming in, didn't miss Martin Odegaard today. And that's all you can ask for. When you don't miss Martin Odegaard, it means he's done his job. Yeah. And to get on the score sheet was well, fantastic, mate. So really happy, man. Really happy.
Yeah, me too. I echo a lot of that. And it felt like the Arsenal players weren't really in their heads after that Man United defeat, because the overwhelming support from the fan base, whether it be people I spoke to, everything I watched on AFTV and other fan channels, was, you know, and looking on social media, was very much a sense of, oh, I'm gutted because I felt the players deserved more out of Old Trafford in that performance. And it felt like the players came away with that same sense, because they went here and from minute one were completely confident in the football they wanted to play. And by the way, the 0 game was hardly a mesmerising performance. It was about getting through. But for our first Premier League back since that United one, 2 weeks later, I think there was a very good, almost, what's the word? Just mentality, I suppose, in terms of, no, we've got faith in the way we want to play, and we can do it again.
Well, listen, the Man United game was always going to be in the back of people's minds. Why? Because it's the last game we played and it was a loss. And I think the naivety we've shown there was disappointing. What I really liked about this performance was that we weren't naive in the fact that we were going to be allowed to be defeated by Brentford's strengths. And I think that was a real big positive for me. The other thing I really liked is that we've now finally bounced back after a loss. And last season, we couldn't do that, mate. You know, we really couldn't. Even the Manchester City game last season, there everyone said we played well in. We still couldn't beat Burnley the game after that because we drew it at home. So everything else was clusters of losses. They're not going to think about that now because the Man United game's done. And the good thing is that it's been done by a couple of weeks ago now.
Yeah.
So I think the best thing we could have before we go into North London derby after the international break is to win. And we did that convincingly today, mate. I think with the performance you've looked at individual performances. I thought there was a lot of good ones. For me, the one great one that has really surprised me this season in terms of his consistency has been Granit Xhaka. And I think when you look at what he's done and what he's now doing under Mikel Arteta's new system, he's been fantastic, mate. The advanced role that he's now playing has meant that he's not really been at fault or potentially at fault to lack of mistakes that we've seen previously, which has normally come further down the pitch. I thought he was exceptional today, really good. I thought there's a lot of things that he did that either created chances for us or was influential into how we were playing. I thought he was man of the match for me by far. I thought he was excellent.
Yeah, I echo that. He was definitely my man of the match. What I like about him is what he does in both boxes. I touched on that at the beginning of the show. It's that he's been getting forward now, but he's also got the engine and the awareness to get back. And just cover the spaces, whether it be making blocks, whether it be tracking runners, whether it be just adding an extra man and making it a bit tighter. Tactically, he's spot on for what Arteta's needed in this team at the moment. But that assist as well for Jesus, we'll go back and talk about the Saliba goal in a sec, but that assist for Jesus, there was just a little bit of final third quality there. He's always had a good pass on him. He's always had a good left foot. I don't think anyone's ever really doubted that. You see it with his goals and some of the passes he's able to play. But that was really because we talked about it in the watch along. It's not a lot of space. It's not an angle where he can really whip it. So he's got to kind of float it into an area, but he's got to get it perfect so that Jesus can then just try and put a little bit of power behind it and guide it into the top corner. The whole thing's executed masterfully.
Well, big up Jesus for the finish because that's a hard header to have. You know, there's not the power on it that will be a whipped-in cross. So he's used his neck muscles there to sort the goal out, which was fantastic. But take nothing away from the cross because what Granit Xhaka's done of late is give moments like that and chances like that. And, you have to bury them, of course, to make it count. But what I will say is that I've really seen that kind of develop in his game of the last few games that I've seen in that new position. And it suits him more. It does. It suits him better. Granit Xhaka's not really been known for like a Kevin De Bruyne or a Bernardo Silva at all. He's always played a lot further back. What we're starting to see now is a lot more of an advanced role, and I think it suited his game more. And I think actually what he's done on that left-hand side has been pivotal because I think Jesus, I think Martinelli and Zinchenko or Tierney, when they've played, have all been good. Xhaka gets forgetting about sometimes, and I think what he's done on that left-hand side in that midfield, on that 8, I think he's been great. And it's mad, isn't it? Because we're looking now at thinking we need Xhaka to stay fit because he's so integral to how we're playing at the moment. And I never thought we'd say that. I really never did. I'm not a huge fan of the guy. I'm still not. I think, I find it hard to get over what happened a few years ago. A lot of people, say just get over it. But I find it quite hard to do. But he's delivering performances that we could all be proud of, mate. And, if he turns this form around and turns the people's opinions around, that's what football's all about, mate.
Yeah, I hear that. CHHS fans says Xhaka, man of the match by far. He ran the team today. So, yeah, a lot of people agreeing with that. Great performance, great result, says Julius. Jay says Vieira starts next game, obviously. Well, being the North London derby and Odegaard having had experience in it, I think if Odegaard's fit, he comes in. But it was a good debut. I think the goal... I think if you were the player ratings will come out, Robbie will do a player ratings, but if you were sort of rating his performance, I think it would have been like a 6 or a 7, only his goal took it to like an 8 or a 9. But really, do you know what I mean? It's not like he wasn't... basically, what I'm trying to say is, I think there's a lot more to come from Fabio Vieira, and yet we were left impressed.
Yeah, and I was impressed with the goal. I was impressed with some of his touches and his passing today. I'd still give him a 7 out of 10. I didn't think he was a 9 or a 10 out of 10 by any means, but certainly a good player. Odegaard comes back in, if he's fit, that is for the North London derby. But it's good to know, James, that we now have a player. That if Odegaard's out, we've got someone in. And, I questioned our strength and depth, and I still do, because when we've got 15-year-olds on the bench, it's not by their class, it's by we're desperate. And as much as it's a great story, I do feel like we are short. But certainly in a couple of positions we're stronger. You see Tomiyasu come on, Tierney's come in today for Zinchenko. We've got Granit Xhaka and Partey in midfield, but that for me is still a little bit short, and I think up top potentially it is. But, when you've got Vieira coming in for Odegaard, and he's showing performances like that and can score for us now and shoots outside the box, it's only good things, man. So, yeah, I was really impressed today, man.
Thank you, Rizwan, for your super chat. He says, finally, an immediate response after a loss, something that you talked about. Clean sheet to top it off as well. I do feel like we missed Odegaard creatively. North London derby will be massive. It really will be. I actually don't even want to do all the talk around the North London derby because we've got 2 weeks to start getting ready for that. But, I understand what he means by we missed Odegaard in terms of maybe that little bit of... I final pass that just puts on a play, or that's something. I thought we did really well to fashion chances, even though we weren't at our most. Graham Souness uses the word cute, but that kind of incisive best in the final third and around the area. I think that's down to Brentford's organisation as well. I think they were,
I think so, and I think with Ødegaard, you'll say we missed Ødegaard, but I'm not sure that we did, because, as I just say, I think Fabio Vieira's come in and he's done the job that Ødegaard would have done. Whether or not it would have been an extra bit of exquisite class or a bit of quality that Ødegaard might have shown, we won't know that. But I don't think you can look and say that Vieira's had a bad game or that he's
not at all. So
I think that we'll be happy with that performance as a whole, and I think everybody will walk off the pitch with their heads held high, thinking we played well.
Yeah, they're very. Yeah, sorry. I mean, it wasn't my super chat, but I got what he was saying. I wouldn't say we missed Ødegaard at all. We just won 3-0 and we were brilliant.
Yeah.
And actually, we were very, very mature. In the way, as Harvey mentioned, we controlled the game, having the ball, then knowing when to just drop back and keep our shape, knowing when to press. I thought we were brilliant, and Vieira was a big, big part of that. I just think if we're being hyper critical in what was an almost faultless performance and a perfect day, as I mentioned, it was just, and maybe this was by design because we were playing away from home, but in terms of like Ben White overlapping, we saw a little bit more in the second half. Tierney overlapping as well. Maybe that again. I appreciate that they sit inside; they're more inverted, and just having a little bit of like. Well, I'm saying we didn't pepper their goal, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But then that's okay because we didn't need to.
No, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes when you have a performance where you pepper a goal and you still only win 1 or 2-0, that can't happen sometimes as well. I think this performance was comfortable, like people have said, controlled, composed. These words are good words. That's what you want to be hearing. And sometimes when you come off the pitch and no one's had a bad game or a weak game, you've got to be happy with that.
Of course, yeah.
It was a near-on perfect performance today, James. From the team and individually, I thought we were brilliant. The subs that came on did what they needed to do. I thought Eddie came on and was showing some glimpses that, he's definitely improving as a player and developing. And a great story, Not just Vieira's goal, but also to bring a 15-year-old on is a great story. He's now the youngest ever player in the Premier League.
Unbelievable.
Fantastic.
That is unbelievable. Oscar says, just met Helen and her family in a pub in Sheffield. Great result and wishing her daughter luck at university this year. Big up, Helen. # come on, you Gunners. Oh, that's lovely.
Lovely.
Thank you, Oscar. All right, guys, then we've got some more clips to go into. Then I think we've got to touch in on William Saliba. So we'll go into that a little bit, but let's hear what you guys are saying.
Afternoon, AFTV. It's me, Ryan, from Southwest London. What a performance from the boys today, man. From start to finish, we controlled and dominated possession of the ball. Fabio Vieira, I'm glad he got off on the goals scoring sheet today, man. Still not 100% convinced on him, but time will tell with him. I think he will gradually build his confidence and his stride into the Arsenal system and the way our Arteta wants him to implement his game. Gabriel Jesus, once again, he's going to be so crucial for us, especially in the big games, home and away, and in 2 weeks' time when we play Tottenham in that North London derby. Saka played well and done his thing. Martinelli was a constant havoc, but I just want to mention, I want to give 2 particular mentions and shout-outs to Gabriel and Saliba at the back and Granit Xhaka, man. Listen, I've been Granit Xhaka's biggest critic, but he's starting to win me over, man. And his pass to Gabriel Jesus today was just absolutely exceptional, man. And the way how we're playing right now, we were so unfortunate to not get something from the Man United game because we weren't clinical and ruthless enough in the final third. But the way how we're playing right now, I think we're going to beat most teams in the league this season. We need serious reinforcements in January, though, because I look on our bench and it's quite worrying, but we just got to see how we get on, man. But anyway, Tottenham after the internationals, Arsenal for life.
Big up Robbie, big up AFTV. Arsenal fan Brian here, all the way from Kenya. Big up Granit Xhaka, man of the match. Fabio Vieira doing his thing. And if we go this, I see Northern London derby. We're gonna smoke those guys. We're gonna smoke those Spurs. Big up Arteta, my coach.
What's up, Arsenal fans? Shout out. This is Jimmy from the USA. Let's go. Another game, another Arsenal victory. 3-0 to the Arsenal. That's a clean sheet for Aaron Ramsdale and the defense. Great job by the defense. Midfield looked good. Boss the game. Let's be honest. We completely control this game. Goal scorers. Saliba with his second goal of the season. What a lovely header. Another header by Gabriel Jesus. Love the celebration, love the dance. And then the third goal, Fabio Vieira with his first goal for Arsenal. Premier League goal. What a goal. What a goal. Distance. This guy's looking good. And then we got a debut by the 15-year-old. Let's go. Arsenal, Hill End Academy, we're producing stars. Let's go, you Gunners. Top of the table. Let's go.
Vieira, oh, Vieira, oh. That was a very good and professional performance by the boys. And you can see that the importance of Partey in this team cannot be overemphasized. And bring on Spurs, we're ready for them. By the way, that was a nice kick about by the boys. Come on, you Gunners.
What a win. Big up Don Robbie and AFTV.
We have gone there now and done the bullying. The same thing at Palace.
Come on.
I think this is a
Come
very
on,
good
Arsenal.
performance. 3-0, keeping it.
We back? Yeah, we're back. Hello, sorry, I didn't hear them. Anyway, big up to all of you. Sorry, so normally I can hear, anyway, whatever. We're just too happy listening to all the fans having a great time. I'm blessed. Fans of all ages as well, getting in their thoughts, enjoying the Arsenal. And this is a good team to grow up on, man. Hopefully this team as well. It's still a very young Arsenal side. Hopefully they can grow on to bigger things. Let's talk about one of those young players. We forget how young he is just because of the way he conducts himself, because of the size of him. But William Saliba, was he still only 21 or something?
Yeah, 21. It's unbelievable, really, isn't it?
And then, okay, so he gets his second goal of the season. He is awesome against Tony all day, and whatever threat he had to deal with. He was amazing in possession. He's got the best chant in the league, and he couldn't have had a better start to life. I know the Man United game happened, fine. But that can happen. You're going to concede goals. You can have moments. Generally, he is even surpassed my expectations. People who have watched him week in, week out might not be surprised by this at all. I knew we were getting a good player. I didn't realise he'd be quite this good.
100%. I couldn't say it better myself, mate. I don't think there's a weakness to his game at the moment, and that's a really good thing at 21 to have. The ceiling is ridiculously high. You know, people were mentioning, weren't they, early doors about Rio Ferdinands and Vincent Kompany's and Van Dijk's and Rolls-Royce defenders. I don't think that they were really expecting this, and that's why they were saying it, because when they have seen what he was about, they would have seen that early on. Because, to be fair, we signed him at St Etienne. I didn't know anything about him.
Yeah.
When he stayed and went on loan there, I thought, let's have a look at this guy then from when I can. And I saw glimpses of what I thought was a good centre-half. Then when he went to Nice, he was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Player of the year. And then when he went to Marseille, he was one of their best players and one of the most consistent players, which of
And
course
one of the best in the league.
And he's got him called up to France.
Yeah.
That's a good side, by the way. France. That is a great squad. To get into that squad, you've got to be half decent. Then when he comes to Arsenal in pre-season, I spoke to Judges about it, and he said to me, look, I've gone to Orlando, mate. Watch this guy. He's class. Him and Jesus look like they've taken us to a new level. I thought, okay, let's see what we're about. This guy looks so good. Man, looks so good. In terms of his stature, his composure, his distribution, his positioning, the way that whenever the ball goes towards him, James, I'm confident he's going to win it.
Yeah.
A little bit, I think there was one opportunity earlier on in the game where me and you said, if that's Mustafi, we're in trouble. And it was actually
the ball in behind,
I think it was the ball in behind. And there's also the Fabio Vieira goal, which starts from his composure. So I've been really impressed with him. I think against Bournemouth, he was excellent. I was really impressed with his performance against Palace. And then when he scored the own goal at Leicester, everyone thought, oh no, first mistake. Manchester United, we were naive, not Saliba being naive. We were naive as a team. I didn't look at Saliba as the reason as to why Man United were scoring goals. I thought personally today, he was again a really, really good, solid 8 out of 10 performance from Saliba. I look at him and Gabriel as a partnership now, and it fills me with encouragement, because I've said for many years, we've had world-class defenders like Tony Adams and Sol Campbell. We've had good defenders like Kolo Touré, Lauren Koscielny, the Mertesackers of this world. Where could he get to? Could he get to... Is it fair to say that he's close to the Koscielny and Torres already? Maybe. Could he hit the heights of the Tony Adams and Sol Campbell? Could he even be better than that? I think this guy's got everything in his locker to do what he wants to do. And to be that good at 21... As a centre-half, there's a lot to learn, mate.
Especially
there's a
as a
lot to learn.
centre-back, yeah.
And I'm so impressed with what I've seen, man. I think, you know, he is one of the best players on the pitch at the moment every game. And at 21 to be doing that, you know, that is a fantastic signing, mate. Fantastic signing.
You're not wrong about to be doing it at 21, because there are certain positions where what was it? We were having a little debate before this show started. I don't know if you were in the room about, you know, how young is too young to make your Premier League debut. And one of the things
15 apparently.
Well, apparently under 15. But
yeah, under 15.
You know, I was saying I think it really depends on positions, because I can see why you'd give a striker who's 16, 17 minutes, you know, Wayne Rooney, for example. I could see why you'd give a winger, maybe even a central midfielder where there's quite a lot of the team around them. But a centre-back, it's not even just about being... We're not even talking the 15, 16, 17. I mean, really, centre-backs come into their own at 23, 24 maybe.
Agreed.
And that's what I think so impressive by Saliba, is that at 21 he looks incredibly accomplished. And you kind of like, just do this for the rest of your career. Like, you don't have to necessarily get much better.
Yeah.
And he's still got a lot to learn because of how old he is. And that comes with experience. But in terms of pure talent, I mean, what I would say to caveat everything I've just been saying is, let's see it at the Etihad. Let's see it at Anfield.
Of course.
That's where, you know, because I suppose you could say he's had an
Up
ideal
against
one.
Haaland will be tough,
Yeah.
you know, and Darwin Nunez and Salah, etc.
And, you know, and he was caught out a few times against Man United. Maybe
Yeah.
it wasn't just him, it was everyone. So, you know, maybe I should just put the brakes
Just
on what I'm
quickly
saying.
as well,
but
like, every single centre-half we've signed, other than him, Vermaelen, Koscielny, Mertesacker, all in their early 20s to late 20s. We've not had someone come in since Tony Adams at a young age and do what he's doing. I think when people forget how young Tony Adams was when he was at Arsenal, when he first come on the scene, Saliba's a little bit similar to that. You know, he's only got a couple of years on what Tony Adams was when he started, and I think that what we're getting from Saliba is a very mature performance each time. You would not know that he's 21. He's playing like a 27-year-old. That's got to be good, James. That's got to be good, man.
yeah, I agree. Johnny's Wild says Arsenal knows what they're after. KE repping? Anyway,
I'm not sure about that one.
Super chat from Sheldon, thank you so much. Comments coming in. Box of oranges. He's gone for Gabriel and Saliba as his favourite partnership. What else? We need to beat Liverpool. We need to beat Liverpool, says Vincer. Yeah, it's a good point. I think to really kind of convince people about this team, but the performances are undoubtedly looking very good at Arsenal. A few common Arsenals in the comments. What else have we got? Love the tweet from Gabriel. Yeah, I don't know if you've seen Gabriel's sort of done his own version of the Ivan Toney tweet. I think I love to see it because you're kind of not letting him get away with it. But I also think we've well and truly done the Ivan Toney tweet thing. Do you know what I mean? You know, from Lacazette tweeting it to Arteta using it, and we saw that on All Nothing. Now Gabriel. I think now that we've overcome everything at their ground,
Yeah.
it's like, okay, cool, like put it to bed now. I mean, listen,
It's done now.
You know, we've had our fun, but it's also good to see Gabriel. You know, he relished the challenge today. He was very, very good today. Let me ask you something that might sound incredibly basic, and I mean it is incredibly basic, but how much of this is, yes, Arsenal growing as a team with Arteta, and I think he's growing as a manager and all that, but also when you add a new very good centre-back and a new very good striker, you're going to concede less goals and score more, aren't you?
Funny, isn't it?
You know, but, I mean...
No, you're right, mate. You're absolutely spot on. And I think it's not just adding a striker and a centre-back. It's adding a striker and a centre-back with a different style.
Yeah.
And I think what Saliba's done, as we've mentioned, is those attributes of composure and presence, etc. What Jesus has done is taken everybody around him to a new level. I think the work rate's unbelievable. Where he is on the pitch is crazy. Right wing, left wing, centre, dropping deep. He's a bit of everywhere. And I think as much as we all like Lacazette as a bit of a fan's favourite over the years, he wasn't as mobile. I don't think he provided what Jesus does in terms of his intense left, right. I think although he worked hard, to be fair to him, Lacazette, and he held the ball up well.
very hard,
That's pretty much what we were seeing, and that was nothing more to his game over the last couple of years at Arsenal. What Jesus is doing is much more of an all-rounded performance. And I think that when you look at it, a lot of people will say Arsenal are only beating the teams they should be beating.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, well, let's just have a think about what that means then. So that means that Arsenal are going to win every single game other than the people who finished above us last season, Tottenham, Chelsea, Liverpool and Man City. Well, it doesn't work like that, James, does it? You can only beat the teams that are in front of you, mate. And we don't pick the fixtures. We don't put them in front of us. We don't say we want to play these 6 teams first. We beat the teams that are in front of us. And, you know, we weren't beating the teams that we should be beating last season. So if we are, we deserve credit for that. You know, going to Brentford, going to Palace, we were laughed at last season. But now when we beat them, they should be beating them anyway.
Yeah.
So what way is it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the way I see it, mate, is we are not going to go to Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea and Spurs and, you know, get absolutely obliterated, in my opinion, the way that we've been playing. We might lose the games, though, because that can happen. But what happens then? We'll get laughed at because we still can't beat the big boys. So Arsenal can't win, basically.
No, just enjoy it. Enjoy your wins.
Exactly.
Because they all count.
We're top of the league. Enjoy it. You go to Old Trafford, you lose, you get laughed at.
Yeah.
If you go to Old Trafford and you win, people would say, well, they should beat Man United, Arsenal, because they finished above them last year. So what way is it? Do you know what I mean?
Villa were in horrible form and then managed to halt Man City. So, you know, it's one of those things where I'm with you. If you look at the teams we've beaten, you know, Brentford, you should be beating Brentford. Cool, they beat Man United 4-0. Doesn't matter if they've, you know, changed things up since then. They beat them 4-0. And, you know, they had a new manager. There's every reason for Man United to have a bit of a bounce going into that, and they didn't. And you could point to so many. Palace getting a point at Anfield. Bournemouth have turned things around a little bit recently, but okay, cool. They weren't playing particularly well. Who else would be? Fulham have proven a very decent side. So I'm with you. You can only beat what's in front of you. By the way, thank you so much to Maxwell in the comments saying KE repping means he is from Kenya. So thank you so much.
Nice.
Thank you for explaining that. And yeah, this is what I said. I love about the show because people from all around the world are sending in their videos, giving us their thoughts. It's brilliant. Ulas says, now it looks more like a mental block versus United. Ulas, if you're saying that in a positive way, I can maybe agree that it's not about us. It's not about Arsenal necessarily. How would I put it? It wasn't that they just weren't particularly good or that actually we beat the 5 teams we should. The minute we came across a good team, we lost. Maybe it is more that overcoming the Old Trafford mental block is something. I mean, quite a lot of teams, you know, go to Old Trafford. Even Liverpool, who for the last few years have been amazing. They don't go and win there all the time. So maybe it's just a little bit of that.
Listen, I don't agree that we had a mental block at Old Trafford. I think that there was a little bit of naivety shown. And I think that Manchester United played to their strengths. I would say Ten Hag played to the strengths. And he put Rashford and the Sanchos and those players up top. And they were allowed to go on to what we thought was an easy chance for them to cut us open. I don't think we went to Old Trafford thinking, oh, it's Old Trafford, we just can't beat this team. You know, the team didn't show to me out there in the performance. The fans might have thought it going to the game, but certainly not the players. I don't think the players showed up to Old Trafford thinking we ain't going to win today. It's a mental block. We just don't win here. Let's just try and get through the game. I don't think the players put that.
No, I
performance in.
agree. Yeah,
I think
I'm
that we
with
showed
you.
a little bit of naivety within the management and certainly within some of the players. And at 1-1, we struggled to not keep it calm. Today, the performance was, in my opinion, very comfortable, very composed, very controlled. And I think that, yeah, you're right. We are beating the teams that we should be. But not everybody else is. Like you've just said, Manchester City should have beat Villa, but they never did. You know, we've seen Tottenham drop points, Man City drop points. We've seen Liverpool and Chelsea. Chelsea lost to Leeds and Southampton.
Yeah.
No one's saying anything about them. So we need to be looking at who we're beating. We can only beat the team in front of us. We don't pick the fixtures. And let's just enjoy it, man. We're top of the league. It ain't going to be forever. Trust me, I don't think we're going to win the league. But we go into the North London derby now and a very difficult performance at that. And a very difficult game in Liverpool after that, being top of the league, playing good football, mate. So we've got to be happy.
I'm with you. I do enjoy it. Listen, I love all of you in the comments, but people sort of reminding me that Liverpool beat Man United 5-0 at Old Trafford last season. Cool. They lost 2-1 there this season. They won their 5-0. They won their 4-2 the season before that, but there was no crowd. They lost 3-2 in the FA Cup, but again, no crowd. Then the time before that, they drew 1-1. And the time before that, they drew 0-0. The time before that, they lost 2-1. The time before that, they drew 1-1. This is going back to 17. So Klopp's here for all of those. The time before that, they drew 1-1. So my point applies, right? Any team can go to United. United have been poor for a lot of those years, and Liverpool have been good, and they've still struggled. But yes, I do
And we
remember
won't be
they
the
won
only
5-0.
team that does that. We won't be this season.
Yeah, I agree. Another point I wanted to touch on, it's escaped my brain. What were we talking about? We're talking about Jesus, talking about Saliba. Vieira, what do you make of him?
Listen, I think what we've seen from Vieira at the moment is still quite early to understand whether he's going to be this top talent or not. But what I've seen so far, early signs, is looking okay. You know, he's made some really good touches. He looks comfortable on the ball. And the most important thing for me is he always wants the ball. And he always makes room and makes way for the ball. And, you know, he's always wanting it from the other players. Yeah. And the difference is as well, James, when you want the ball, sometimes you shouldn't always have it. But they're happy for him to always have it. And when a player passes you the football, it means you're off a decent player.
Yeah, we're trusting
I think we're seeing that. And to be fair, we should be for a player who's £34 million. Having to adjust to this league isn't always easy. I think he's quite lightweight. That hasn't affected him so far. Maybe it will. I thought against Zurich he looked quite good. He came on at Old Trafford and was comfortable on the ball. And today's performance was an okay performance again. Great goal, by the way, because what I liked about that goal was when you take that touch, no one's whipping that into you. You've got to make power on that shot. And he did first time, but absolutely accurate, by the way, as well, in terms of it coming on. It always looks better, doesn't it, when it comes off the post? But
yeah, that little bit of dip off the post. It's nice,
yeah, listen, I was okay with his performance, man. We didn't miss Martin Odegaard. A lot of people would have said that we would have. So I would say we didn't miss Martin Odegaard because Vieira did a job. So I was happy with it, man.
I agree. Ulas says, sometimes I think players watch AFTV a lot before every United game. They want to win more than the fans and get desperate. Huge fan. I doubt that their mentality going into the United game is affected by what we think or we're saying. But if we can spark some encouragement, and good, I suppose. Right, let's go to more of your clips, guys, and then I'm going to thank you, Dan, for joining us.
Cheers, bro.
And we're going to talk about 15-year-old debutant Nwaneri and a couple more bits and bobs before what's going to come in the next 2 weeks with Robbie, who will be joining us shortly, so we'll catch you in a sec.
FTV, Danny Black, Dumfries, Scotland, one of the many Arsenal fans. Great performance, from front to back, were absolutely brilliant. Ramsdale never had much today, the one-on-one saved it, but great performance. Brilliant to see Vieira in the team. Knew through what we've seen what he can do. Shots and a goal from outside the box. Something that we've missed. It was absolutely brilliant. Some of the defending that we got for Jesus today, absolutely phenomenal. Up and down the pitch, 19 runs, sprints. You can't beat that for your striker, helping in defence. Another glorious win for Arsenal. Couple of weeks at the top of the league. Come on, you Gunners.
Yeah, big up Arsenal Fan TV. This is JR from St. Lucia. I am real stoked about the game today. You know what? I wanted a revenge. I wanted a real guys to go in and show Brentford who we are, right? And now they saw who we are. I think Xhaka was excellent today. You know what? I'm happy to see him back at captain because, you know, a couple of years ago, I wanted him out. Most of the guys here wanted him out. But he really, really did a captain's role today. You know, the guys were fantastic. And, you know, this is the old Arsenal back. We've got our Arsenal back. Come on, you Gunners.
Big up FTV team. I mean, what a way to go into an international break. What a brilliant performance today. Brentford last season was something else. I mean, they were a nightmare for us now. But today, we've proven to them that we are actually a big team to beat. So I'm expecting us to beat them again when they visit Emirates Stadium. Thank you, guys. Despite the network challenges, you've done pretty well. Please, every single player on that pitch is the man of the match. This is me, Emmanuel from Nigeria.
Hey FTV, it's Michael in Boston. I want to give a shout out to Javi and the father and son in Pittsburgh and all the American Gooners who wake up at 7 in the morning for matches like this. We got to represent. And I just want to say a word about Xhaka, that I had so much contempt for him for so long that I ignored just what a great passer he is. I mean, he's like an athletic Ozil who knows how to play defense sometimes. It's amazing. Now to Spurs. Turn thou the mouth of thy artillery, as we will ours, against these saucy walls. And when that we have dashed them to the ground, why then defy each other, and pell-mell make work upon ourselves, for heaven or for hell.
Hey, big up Mike.
Hey, that guy, listen, Mike is incredible, man. I love Mike, man. They need to get Mike in, you know, like Arteta's, he did that.
What, team talks?
Yeah, the team talks. You remember that time he got the
Stuart McFarlane did it, yeah.
No, he needs Mike, man. Like, trust me. I tell you, when I hear those speeches, man, I'm ready to go march on something. You know what I mean? Well done, man. Well done. Love that. And to all those guys, I love that feature, man. I love the fact that we get to hear from fans from all over. And yeah, listen, I'm glad that the fans are all buzzing like I'm buzzing. I'm still buzzing, man. That was a brilliant performance.
Yeah, I'm buzzing.
Brilliant performance. The way we played from minute one till the end of the game, total domination away from home at a difficult place. I cannot stress to you guys. I was there last year. That is a tough place to go to. Sometimes maybe it doesn't come out as much as you watch it on TV and that. But you go to there, they're fans, they're really behind the team. It's a small ground, and they give it everything, Brentford. But we were superb today, and yeah, much deserved win.
Yeah. What's changed from the last time we went to that stadium? You know, I know, I guess you could say better players, you could say more time with Arteta. What's the main thing that's made it all come together?
I think, listen, one of the things are the players.
Yeah.
You know, I've been saying it all week. You know, when I did a preview on a Brentford channel, and they were saying to me, what do you think this year? And I said to them, I go, listen, it's a different Arsenal coming to Brentford this year. Remember when we played that first game of the season, there were a lot of issues around Arsenal. A lot of people sort of didn't want to recognise that, but there were a lot of issues. We went into the season, we weren't ready, we weren't prepared, we hadn't had a good pre-season. It had been a disastrous pre-season, really. We had players missing. Fuller and Balogun started that game. You know, we were missing Aubameyang, Lacazette. There was players with COVID. The new players that we bought, I think it was only Ben White was the only one who started that game, and he wasn't even really ready. Whereas this time, we've had a great pre-season. We've got a team that's really playing well, playing good football, really. Even in the defeat to Man United, universally, I think everybody was saying we played good football. And we've got some new players in the team.
Yeah.
That you know, well, if you look at today's game, 3 players who weren't there last year were exceptional. Jesus, who another exceptional performance by him. He's so hard to handle, he scores. Saliba got another goal by him, but I thought defensively he was brilliant. You know what I mean? So Ivan Toney wasn't able to do his thing because he marshalled him. And then Fabio Vieira comes in and scores a great goal and looked really comfortable in midfield. So different personnel, different attitude, different mindset, and a different team. And I think at the moment we deserve to be top of the league. We're playing. I feel that at this moment in time, Arsenal are probably playing the best football in the league. The way we're moving and passing the ball around and that, you know, because even and a lot of people are going to look at me and say, "Are you going crazy? What about City?" But I'd say from the start of the season till now, I'm not saying we're better than City, we're not. But we've played better football than them in the Premier League. We've been consistent with the way we've played. Whereas Man City have had a few, even the last game against Villa, they didn't play well, did they? They could have lost that game. They didn't play well. And they've had a couple of other games like that. I mean, we know what City are like. They're kind of a bit of a slow burner, then they just catch fire and, you know, so... And I still think they'll probably win the league. But we're playing well at the moment.
We're playing really, really well. No, I echo everything you're saying. I think ultimately it's the players coming in and the more time with Arteta and us all understanding what it is he's trying to do. But I think what's so interesting is Brentford and Palace last season. We conceded 10 goals, didn't get a single point, didn't score a single goal. Got bullied in those games. Now, the same trips to the same places, you know, a year on, and sorry, I'm getting it wrong. We conceded 5 goals, and then this year we scored 5 goals. So 10-goal swing is what I'm trying to say. 2 clean sheets as well. 6 points on the board from those games. It's just a complete turnaround from what we got from those games last year.
Complete turnaround, and even, you know, I spoke about a lot of the players that have come in, but, you know, also hats off to some of the ones that are still here. And I think one in particular, Granit Xhaka, has really, really stepped up. He's been really... I thought last season he played really well. You know, I thought he was very consistent last year, and he's followed it through. He's even better this year. So, yeah, listen, I am really happy with what I'm seeing at the moment from Arsenal, you know, and I think we'll give any team in that league a game. You know, any team.
Yeah, looks like we've got a City fan saying Brentford are bang average, stop making this out to be some amazing win. Listen.
So are Villa. So are Villa bang average. Right now, if you look at the table, Brentford are above Villa. Yeah. So what's your point? You know, I'm sorry, you know, I mean, Brentford, you know, is a... They've been playing well. Look what they did to Manchester United. They've only lost one game this season. They've been playing well. Ivan Toney's been called up for England, deservedly so. You know, they remember that performance against Leeds where they absolutely battered them. They've been playing very well this season, right? That is one of those fixtures that when you look at the weekends coming up, you're thinking potential banana skin.
No.
We dominated them, absolutely dominated them. Great performance by Arsenal. You know, we're supposed to win. But the manner of what we did that was brilliant.
Well, Rizwan with a super chat, and I saw your comment, Rizwan, reminded me that I'd missed it, so thank you so much. I did catch that. And he says, I don't get English punditry and media. The Premier League is marketed as the most competitive / toughest league in the world, unless you're Arsenal. It's a really good point. We all like to do the whole, what a league, you know, best league in the world. And then it's, you should be beating them, though.
Yeah, listen, and that's it. It is the most competitive league. I've been reading David Dean's book, and... You know, he speaks a lot in there about how when he started, you know, the Premier League and stuff like that, and how competitive it is. And he says it. He goes, it's the most competitive league in the world. You know, the Premier League's got the most money to buy players. You know, so we've got the best players. We've got, you know, somebody might immediately jump in and say, well, what about PSG? But that'd be like one team. Or what about Real Madrid, Barcelona? That's two teams. Or Atletico, but that's like three teams. But if you look right throughout the Premier League, every team is stacked full of international players.
Yeah.
Every team.
Yeah.
That's not the case in every league. So it's the most competitive and difficult league. And yeah, that guy's got a point. You know what I mean? The City guy's saying, you know, Brentford, and all of a sudden now they're bang average, you know?
Yeah.
I don't think they are bang average. I think they're a good side.
No, I completely
They are a
agree.
good side.
Robbie, we've got to end the show talking about... you know, I was about to say one man, one boy, Ethan Nwaneri,
What a story.
who came on to make his debut, the youngest ever Premier League player. I think it was 15 years and 180 days.
Yeah.
And the record, I mean, no one basically has played under the age of 16. They've all been 16 or above, which is so young as it is. Let me ask you about, we'll talk about what an amazing story it is, but what was this from Arteta? Was this Arteta telling us that we've got a really, really special young kid? Was this him trying to give a little bit of exposure and experience to a player because we were 3-0 up? I'm a little confused as to, is he that good? You know, is he?
He must be good. Listen, if you're 15 and you've been drafted into the first team, even to train, you have to be exceptional.
Yeah.
Right? Because otherwise, you'd be made to look a fool in training. So, you know, I go to watch a lot of football at that level and them sort of age groups.
Sure.
And for someone of 15 to be playing senior football is ridiculous.
Yeah,
it is ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
So for a 15-year-old kid to be training with the first team, with Jesus and all these type of players, and it's like, right, we think you will benefit from training with this level. That's amazing. Just to train.
Yeah.
To get on the pitch says to me that Arteta really rates this kid highly.
Yeah.
Now, let's be real. If everybody had been fit, he probably wouldn't have been in the squad. But it's all about taking your opportunity.
It is.
You know what I mean? That's what football's about sometimes. And sport's about. It's funny, I was chatting to my mate who works, he does Formula One. And he was telling me about... remember the other day, that guy, De Vries?
De Vries, yeah.
How he just like, he goes, Robbie, this guy's talented, but, you know, he's just seized this chance.
Yeah.
You know, by getting a drive because the other driver was ill.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So this is what happens sometimes in football. You've got to seize that moment. You've got to seize that opportunity. And this kid is going to go down in history as the youngest ever player in the Premier League, the youngest ever Arsenal player to play. I mean, he's created history. And like the Arsenal fans were singing at the game, he's going to school in the morning. That's what they were singing. Imagine that. He's going to school in the morning, year 11.
Yeah.
Yeah,
what did you get up to this weekend?
Yeah.
Just playing for Arsenal.
His teacher says, what is he?
Midday kickoff, sir.
Yeah, I was playing for Arsenal. All right, well, you never mind about playing for Arsenal. We've got a game this evening as well. We want you to play for the school.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's incredible.
It's
incredible, absolutely incredible. And he looked calm when he came on as well, didn't he? He didn't look unfazed. He had a couple of touches. I know it was right at the end of the game. What an incredible moment for him. And I hope we can see a bit more of him maybe in the Europa League or stuff like that. We might get to see a bit more of him. Obviously, they're going to have to keep his feet on the ground because it's a mega. But I think that's another thing that what this tells you about that kid, right? Is that he must be obviously, up here, his mindset must be spot on, because the last thing they'd want to do as well would be to bring on a 15-year-old kid where it's going to go to his head, and then this kid must be switched on mentally. His mindset must be right where they're like, you know what, even if we play him, we know he ain't going to get carried away.
Yeah.
We know he's not going to come knocking my door now saying he wants to play every week. He's seeing this as an opportunity. I think it's amazing. Really, really, really good advert for Arsenal's academy. And for the fact that we are a team that gives young players a chance.
Yeah.
Which is what Arsenal have demonstrated over the past few years. One of the things I've liked the most about Arsenal is the fact that they give young players like Saka. Remember how young he was? He was only 17 when he burst into the team. Martinelli, Smith Rowe. They give youngsters a chance in Arsenal. Not every team in the Premier League gives youngsters a chance.
I can't speak on his performance or his level because I've never seen him play. And what did he have? A couple touches in that game. Put himself about. I'll say that he was getting everywhere.
Yeah.
But what I can comment on, in terms of trying to judge, how good he might be or what Arteta's intention was behind the sub. I mean, undoubtedly his intention was give this guy minutes because he's earned it, and we're in a position where you could give him that. But you've got to think, right, that bench could have been made up of other 18, 19-year-olds that we've got in the academy that haven't really had their moments. That sub appearance could have gone to someone like Matt Smith, who was on the bench during Project Project Restart and Lockdown and FA Cup as well, a bit last year, a couple was it last week? Okay, anyway, my point is, it could have gone to him. It could have been like loyalty minutes. Like, listen, we're winning. Let's give you your kind of minutes with the first team, whatever. But he didn't do that. He turned to Nwamiri, which for me, at the risk of, if he wasn't good enough, you'd have suddenly, I think, maybe youngsters sort of going, what's this all about? I've been waiting for an opportunity for it to open up. He must be that good that it's kind of like, we can't deny this kid. He might be 15, but he deserves that spot on the bench and he deserves that sub appearance.
No, 100%. And he's obviously earned that position. And as I said, it's just incredible. It's incredible. For me, it's incredible. You know what I mean? He wouldn't even be have signed a professional contract.
Yeah.
He's only 15, and you can't do that until I think you're 16.
Yeah.
Right,
that's
so
true, actually.
He's just literally is just a youngster. I mean, it's unheard. Well, it's the first time it's ever happened. It's just an absolutely incredible story.
It is. Now, this is just coming from Gunnar Vettel. He's put in the comment section. Apparently, Thomas Frank has said about Arsenal, we lost to the number one team in the Premier League, although brackets table, so I think he was referring more to the table. He did, though, say, I said before the game they're a top side. I think they'll compete for the title now. Wow.
Yeah, there's a few people been saying that. Listen, I still don't
Too
think
early for that for me.
It's still too early for that. And then when I look at Man City, I still think, with what they've got, I still think, they're above everybody right now. But I do think we can compete for the top four this year. I really do. And I think we've got a good enough team. It's about the Premier League is all about consistency. Can we be consistent this season? Can we go away from home and win games at places like Brentford?
Yeah.
Can we take some points away from home off of some of the big boys? You know what I mean? Can we make the Emirates a fortress? I think that's going to be one of the really important things is making the Emirates a fortress.
The fans are doing their bit.
The fans are doing their bit. You know, we don't lose many games at the Emirates, and then we go away, we beat the sort of teams like Brentford away, and then nick a few points off of some of the big boys. Then you're getting into the top four. So
yeah, I agree.
But it's about consistency. How are we going to cope with injuries? How are we going to, so today we showed that we can do some of those things. We coped with Odegaard, who's probably been our most influential player, or one of the most influential players. We coped with him missing, you know. And Thomas Partey came back in. I thought he was great.
Yeah.
What a performance.
I agree.
I'm buzzing. I'm buzzing.
Couple updates. Charles Watts says that Saliba has been carrying a knock for a while. He's been struggling to train. Does put in brackets, yet pulls out a performance like that. He then goes on to add, I wouldn't be surprised if he stays at Arsenal rather than linking up with France during the international break. One to keep an eye on. That would be interesting.
Well, I hope that if he's got any sort of knock, man, they shouldn't be sending him. I know much as he'll want to go to,
especially with the World Cup looming, does he want to risk that place?
He want to go, but
I think he goes.
Then we don't want him to get injured. You know what I mean? Because he again today was brilliant, and he's such. I think Dan Potts said it on the stream. You know what I mean? He goes, "This ain't Mustafi and Socrates and these sort of guys. You know, this is a quality player who's still young, is going to get better, and he's struck up a great partnership. You know, with Gabriel. So I hope he doesn't go on duty.
It's a weird one. I sort of hope he doesn't for Arsenal's sake, but I also know that, you know, these spots in squads, you know, they're valuable, and I think he'll want to try and get himself there, and maybe he'll go and then say I can't play. Or
listen, the World Cup's looming for these guys, you know, and you know, I want them to go to the. I know, I was chatting with Lee Judges the other day when we was doing the podcast, and he was going, he goes, I don't want none of them to go. I was going, no, but Lee, for me, actually, when players do go to the World Cup, it does it confidence, the world of good. They think they're, you know, improves them.
It's such a game,
I want to go into that with our full first team, ready for action, bring it on. We're ready for Tottenham.
I hope you're right. Abdullah says big away performance again, been better than home so far, to be honest. Yeah, fair point.
We've been good at home though.
We have been good at home. Great comments, and enjoyed this victory with us, and been tuning into everything from the starting 11 to the watch along, and of course full time. This is full time, but the fan cams are coming out on AFTV right now, so go check that out as well. There'll be, am I right, there's no content coming out tomorrow?
No content tomorrow. Of course you can watch all the great content that we do today if you don't get a chance to see it, but we won't be doing any content tomorrow because obviously